Here at the Royal School of Needlework Embroidery Studio, we've had the great pleasure of working on Her Majesty the Queen's Robe of Estate for her coronation. It's been designed here on site by our core team. It's a very fresh and modern design, and it's a reflection of her commitment and dedication to the nation, and also a celebration of her as a person and her life. We began the design process actually by looking at robes that had been used before at previous coronations, but we were quite sure we wanted something quite new, so we've actually chosen naturalistic flowers. We selected ones that are very personal and very symbolic, both to the Queen and also to His Majesty the King as well. For instance, we have the delphinium, which is the birth flower for July, and it's also the King's favourite flower. We've got a beautiful dandelion with pollen coming off. We've got a very special pincushion flower. There's a lady mantle. The design actually grows from wildflowers into the strength of the nations. So you'll also see the emblematic flowers of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. So there's the shamrock, the daffodil, the rose and the thistle. So interestingly, with our design, for the first time, there's actually some insects included. These sort of represent sustainability and nature. So if you look really carefully and very closely, you'll see there's some beautiful butterflies, there's some beetles, we've got a ladybird, all very discreetly scattered within the design, but they actually just bring a little bit of movement and life to the flowers. So lots to look at and lots to choose from.
We have used a mix of goldwork techniques, including cutwork and couching, but we've also tried to push the boundaries a little bit to use some more contemporary techniques to bring it into the here and now. We have used 14 different goldwork threads. Some of them come in different sizes, but they are a range of textures and surfaces, which has enabled us to produce different effects, replicating the wildflowers and spring flowers that we have used. We have looked at some new processes, so there are some areas that are three-dimensional, which has not been done previously on robes. We've also allowed some of the threads to be free to create the stamens for some of these flowers, but we've also added pearls and bees, which have also not been used before. Her Majesty's cipher was worked separately on an additional frame so that we could continue working on the main robe. Once it was finished, it was cut out and applied onto the main robe. After it was positioned and secured, it was then stitched from the surface using a curved needle.
It is all so wonderful and so beautiful, but actually I'm quite fond of the lily of the valley here. The lily of the valley is symbolic of love, purity and humility, and they were actually in the Queen's wedding bouquet. So it's lovely to bring that sort of element back into the robe as well, and I love it.
My favourite flower on the robe is the pincushion flower, because that's a lovely link back to Her Majesty being our patron. It has been an absolute honour and a privilege to work on this project for Her Majesty, but also to work with everybody within the Royal School of Needlework Embroidery Studio, as we work so well as a team.
I feel very lucky to have worked on the Robe of Estate. Having been an apprentice here at the Royal School of Needlework, to be able to work on it alongside the studio team, my friends, it's been a really wonderful experience, and it's one that I will treasure always.